So today's the day after Christmas. It's December 26th. And, you know, yesterday I had a great day spending time with my family. We got together, we ate, we laughed. There's a lot of good food. Um, I was lazy to cook. So for me, what I brought was 15 orders of Jack in the Box tacos. So, what, 30 tacos, 30 individual tacos? Man, people loved it. That was kind of like our childhood memory growing up as kids. So I brought it. People loved it. They ate it. But overall, it was a great, great day, man. Anytime my family has an event, I make it out. I make sure to attend every single event because as we get a little bit older, these events start to kind of slow down a bit. And I get it. As we get older, we get more busy. We get more responsibilities placed upon us, and the family events kind of slow down a bit. But on the big holidays, we make sure we spend time with one another. And at the end of the event, before like we start to head home, my one of my cousins, she mentions to me that my aunt that wasn't there with us, her cancer came back. She's in the cancer that came back was stage 4, that it's terminal, and we're not exactly sure how much time she has left, but it brought back like a flood of memories of her. And it reminded me of the time when she first came to Hawaii. Now, I used to live in Hawaii when I was a kid. I was there from 7th grade to the end of the first semester of ninth grade. So I was there for about 2.5 years. Um, I was there in 96 and I left in like 98. Um, I was there, the first year I was there was when Tupac died. I was still young, I was only 12, and then bam, Tupac passed away. Or he died, he got murdered. And that was like one of the first things I remember was Tupac. Bone Thugs and Harmony, NB Riders, like that was my childhood growing up. And I remember in 8th grade, the next year, my aunt, she decided to come to Hawaii. She was living in California. I guess she was looking for a new start. At the time, it was me, my mom, my younger brother, and my older brother. The four of us. And also my younger sister. She was an infant at the time. And my aunt decided just to come out. She came out. She loved it. She decided to stay. And I remember my aunt, and she had this spot in Chinatown in downtown in one of like the buildings. She owned a banh mi shop. It was right there in Chinatown, right across in that little plaza where McDonald's is at. If you're in Chinatown, there's like this McDonald's that has a couple floors. Right across the street is a banh mi shop. That's my aunt and my uncle's Vietnamese sandwich shop. And I remember they had that they had that shop when I was a kid. And to hear like my aunt having cancer, it just made me think of how quick time actually passes. Because when she got there, I was what, 13 years old. I'm 41 now. So that means what, 28 years have passed? And it seemed like a blink of an eye, just bam, just like that, how much time had passed and how short life really is. Like, even though life felt long, like all these things happened in between, just to know that, dang, the first time she stepped on the islands of Hawaii was 28 years ago. It almost seemed like a blink of an eye. And I remember that same year when my aunt came to Hawaii, that year my grandpa also had cancer, which is her dad. And he was out here in California. So, he unfortunately passed away at the age of 65. And I remember there was like this big, issue going on about like my grandpa. And, we're not the richest. When I lived in Hawaii, I lived in the projects. It was me, my mom, my siblings. We were all living in the ghettos, man, in Camp 4. And we were kind of deciding who should go and go say bye to my grandpa and this and that. And I was fortunate enough to come back to be there for his funeral and to like say our goodbyes. And now here we are. It almost seems like it's full circle for my aunt to be dealing with the same issue. And I know a lot of people don't realize how fast life moves until something puts things in perspectives like this. And it's crazy because it's not even happening to me. It's happening to someone else, to someone that I know, that someone that I love, you know? And the last time I actually saw my aunt was when I went to go visit Hawaii several years back. It must have been, what, 6 years? Corrected. I stand corrected. My aunt since then has came to California and has visited. And each time we visit, she's here for like a couple weeks, and I make sure to stop by, say hi, spend time with her, drink some tea, have a couple laughs, eat. But the last time I was in Hawaii was about 6, 7 years ago, and we spent the 4th of July. Me, my family, my cousins, my aunts, we all came out there to spend 4th of July. And I remember my family had left already, but I stayed a couple of days after just to spend a little bit more time in Hawaii. And I remember the day before I left, I called my aunt and I was like, hey, let's go eat. We went to go eat at this Chinese spot. She took me, good times. And I made sure to like have a moment with her before I left. And here we are. The last time I've seen her till now, in Hawaii till now, it seemed like we just ate at that Vietnamese restaurant just yesterday, man. I'm not sure how to process all of this. I know I'm hurt, I'm sad, and I know it's something my family, we have to deal with. And I think one of my cousins, my younger cousin Andy, he kind of put things in perspective for us to kind of like understand why we're having such a hard time dealing with this, because we've been very fortunate. And he kind of put it in the sense where like my family's been very fortunate to not have to deal with this pain of loss of family members, because the last time we actually lost somebody was 30 years ago. When I was a kid, we lost my uncle, which is my mom's youngest brother. But I was a kid. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I was like 6 at the time. I had no idea. And then after that, a couple years after that, was my grandpa when I was 13. I understand it better. And since then, we haven't had a loss. I'm 41 now. It's been almost 30 years, and here we are having to deal with this issue. So when we were talking about it was a painful moment, because we know the realities we're going to have to face, whether it's a month from now or it's a year from now, because at the end of the day, like I said, she's been dealing with this for some time. And we've been very, very lucky. And I'm not looking forward to the day where we have to face this truth. The first thought I had was, hey, let me go visit my aunt, man. I'm on winter break right now. I don't have massive responsibilities, but there's things that I got to hold down. There's things that I have to do. And the first instinct was, let's go visit. I started checking out flights. And everyone was like, hold on, pump your brakes, T. Pump your brakes, because let's just make sure it's a good time to visit. Lo and behold, one of my other cousins reaches out, and they're like, hey, you know what? She has a brain scan coming up at the end of the month in January. Let her go through that, see what the doctor says, and then we can kind of go from there. But to visit her now would put a lot of stress, a lot of tension on her as she goes through this right now. And it's so mind-boggling, because it almost seems like we're invincible, right? I just had this conversation with my young cousin. He's I think he's 12 or something like that, 12 or 14. Kids nowadays, they have their e-scooter. And I was telling him, man, like, dude, 15 miles an hour is fast. Like, I have an electric bike. And when I'm doing 15 miles an hour, that to me is extremely fast. And if you were to crash, like, holy smokes, the damage that it can do on the body is so crazy. And he's like, 15 miles an hour, that's nothing. And it just reminds me of when I was his time, how invincible I felt. Almost like nothing can stop me. You know, I broke my wrist when I was a kid. When I was a young kid, I had to have a cast on it for it to heal tightly. I remember the doctor was like, hey, pretend you're holding a soda can. And then they wrapped the cast. And I had to have a cast on my arm for some time. But my little cousin, he's never had to deal with something like that. So for him, he's like, 50 miles an hour is nothing. And I'm like, dude, life is so delicate. Life is so precious. Don't play with your life like that, man. And boom, I come to find out a couple hours later at the end of the event, my aunt is dealing with this. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I know that she's in good spirits and good hopes. And I hope that she can carry this on, man, because I'm not sure how I'm going to carry on once this situation kind of like unfolds a little bit deeper. And it sucks because like 2025 was such a freaking good year for me, man. I dealt with a lot of adversity. I'm still dealing with it now, you know, homelessness. Like people have no idea the struggles that I've been through, man. And I know it's like, oh yeah, your problem's not unique, it's not special, but bro, my problems to me are special. To me, they mean the world. Like people that aren't homeless, that haven't been homeless, they don't know what it means to sleep in your car. People have no freaking idea, man. To shower at the gym every night, to use Wi-Fi, not in the comfort of your home, but in the comforts of a McDonald's like dining stall or at a library. And then to deal with this with my aunt, yeah, man, it's a big deal to me. And I guess only time will tell how much I can actually handle some more loss in my life, right?